Hello and welcome to DOS Nostalgia. I'm Anatoly, and today I want to talk about something that we all obviously like: games. What can be better than games? Games inside other games, of course. We're used to seeing games within games pretty often, like this Slot Machine in Leisure Suit Larry or Whack-A-Rat in Sam & Max Hit the Road. But today I'd like to talk about something a little more hidden. Let's find some hidden games. First and the most obvious example is the full playable version of the original Maniac Mansion accessible from inside its sequel, Day of the Tentacle. But to be honest, it wasn't very hidden since there was a blurb about it right on the game's box and detailed instructions on how to access it were given in the manual. But it's still a classic bonus nonetheless. Now let's take a look at a sequel to one of the best real-time strategies of all time: Command & Conquer Red Alert. Let me show you a little Easter egg first. Almost each page of the game's manual contained Morse code. If you decoded 90-something pages of it, you'd find yourself reading a communications log of an allied squad that encountered 10-foot-tall killer ants. This was taken to the next level in the Counter-Strike expansion. If you had that installed, holding Shift and clicking on a speaker on the title screen would start a 4-mission campaign called It Came from Red Alert, where your enemies were giant killer ants. This campaign is a lot of fun. Now let's move on to another classic, Tyrian by Eclipse Software, pretty much the best shmup for DOS. Yes, and all you Raptor fans, feel free to leave me a comment regarding this. Type in the word Destruct on the main menu screen will start a game called, well, Destruct. It's a classic style artillery game, not unlike Scorched Earth, but in real time. It offers several game modes too. A traditional mode where two static turrets get to battle each other using a selection of weapons, very much like the game that inspired it. In the 5-card war mode, each side gets a variety of artillery units with different weapons and abilities, and you can swap between them at will. In heli attack or defense, one side's units consist entirely of helicopters. And in outgunned mode, you get a selection of random units with your enemy having an upper hand. It's a basic but fun game if you have another player on hand. An option to play with the computer is provided, which is what you're seeing right now, but the computer isn't particularly smart or fun to play against. Destruct is available in all versions of the game, including the now freeware Tyrian 2000. Next up is Wing Commander Privateer. This time there is nothing inside the game itself, but rather, hidden within the game's files is a small text adventure, with the sequel hidden within the files of the expansion, Righteous Fire. Both are available on the cd-rom version of Privateer, which is what I'm going to be showing. To get access to these, you'll need to find two files in the game's directory: tabtna.vda and tabtxe.nda, which are really just two DOS batch files called Advent and Add Next in reverse. Rename them and move each to an empty folder. Once you run each one with the word setup as a parameter, they will generate other batch files, one for each command available in the game. It's actually rather clever. Now you can play both games. They are very basic interactive fiction games called Art D's First Batch Adventure and Art D's Next Batch Adventure, created by one of the Privateer programmers, Arthur DiBianca. But they're pretty fun to check out. I must warn you that they need real DOS and won't install or run in pure DOSBox unless you boot actual MS-DOS inside it first. But for your convenience, I've uploaded both games as a floppy image to the Internet Archive where you can play them right in your browser. Either click on the screen right now or check out the link in the description for this video later. Next up is something different, not exactly a full game. Some of you are probably familiar with The 11th Hour, a 1995 sequel to The Seventh Guest. Well, something pretty cool can be found on its disc number 1. There's this suspicious directory called WADs. And, as the description file lets us know, inside you can find WAD files recreating the iconic style of mansion for Doom, Doom 2, and Heretic, created by Mitch Feldman, a product analyst who worked for Virgin at the time. It's a pretty cool map that, despite all of Doom's limitations, recreates the mansion very faithfully and focuses the gameplay on finding all the secret passages. If you played an original or Ultimate Doom, there's an extra WAD that will change the music in the game, but other than that, the versions for Doom 1 and 2 are identical. Heretic version is the same in structure but differs in monster placement and feels more difficult. So like I said, not a full game, but a very nice and unexpected bonus. And come on, who didn't have Doom or Heretic on their machine in 1995? So that's it for today. And of course there are many more examples of games within games, and there are other hidden games out there as well. Share examples of some of your favorites in the comments, and hey, maybe you know something I don't. Thank you for watching. This is it for this DOS Nostalgia video, which wouldn't be possible without support of these awesome DOS enthusiasts. If you enjoyed this video, check out my other ones and subscribe to the channel. Also consider supporting DOS Nostalgia on Patreon, as that allows me to make more videos like this one. Thank you again.